Hey everyone. A while back, somebody asked me to print these cute little cat ears for Halloween or for cosplay or something. And I was running them both on the P1S and also my X1C. And for whatever reason, the overhangs on this surface, on the parts coming out of the X1C, were really, really bad, but the parts coming out of the P1S were perfect. And it was kind of confusing because PLA is literally the easiest filament to print, and these machines are basically the same, except for the extruder and the gears and stuff. After troubleshooting, I basically found out that there is a big difference between this machine and this one, but it's not so obvious. So today I want to walk through what caused this problem and how you can fix it. Here are some close-ups of the part. This one was printed on my P1S in this orientation. So this entire surface is an overhang. And you can see how clean the surfaces are. That's kind of what I would expect from PLA in general. And then this one was printed on the X1C. All other surfaces look pretty good and fairly consistent with the P1S, but if you look at this overhang surface, it is horrible. And our settings are the same for both. Support settings are the same. There's literally no difference in any slicing settings. I tried a whole bunch of different things, adjusting hot end temperature, tweaking support settings, but nothing really made a difference. So as a last resort, I posted on Reddit. Most of the replies were the usual, is your filament dry nonsense, but one person actually had a useful suggestion. Apparently, there was a change to the part cooling fan sometime during production. This actually really clicked because the defects I was seeing looked a lot like inadequate cooling. So I went to the Bambu Lab website and ordered a new part cooling fan. While I was at it, I figured I might as well grab a new auxiliary fan as well in case that had changed, and hopefully these would solve my problem. Once I got the new parts in, I took off the part cooling fan and compared it with the new one that I just got in, and it was immediately obvious that the new fan was different and that it also had higher wattage and thus probably higher flow. So this was a step in the right direction. I then took the auxiliary fan out of the machine and did the exact same thing. Again, immediately obvious that the new auxiliary fan was a different model than the old one, and again had higher current, higher wattage, and thus higher flow. So having ripped these two out, it was time to replace them and then rerun the parts and see if this made a difference. Changing the part cooling fan is pretty straightforward. You just unplug it and then put in the new one. Changing out the auxiliary fan is a bit more involved. You have to open up the back of the machine, unplug it from the main board, and then rip off the fan from the side of the panel. I think the newer production models used screws to hold the auxiliary fans in, but because I have a Kickstarter unit, it was stuck on with double-sided tape. So I had to rip that off, print a new auxiliary fan bracket to hold it up, place new adhesive on the fan, and then mount it into place. So after changing the auxiliary fan and also the hot end cooling fan, this is what the print looks like coming out of the X1C now, which looks exactly the same as the P1S. So it is definitely a cooling problem with the X1C with those old cooling fans. And that was it, a really hidden difference between the new production P1S and the older X1C Kickstarter units. I'm not sure at what point during production they changed the fans on the X1Cs. I would assume that newer units of the X1 have the new fans in now and it's not a problem that you would have to deal with. But if any of you out there are owners of Kickstarter units or early X1C units, this might be explaining why your overhangs are so bad. And it doesn't seem to be that well of a known issue or well documented anywhere. So I hope that in watching this video, it might help you solve any overhang issues that you have printing PLA on the X1. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the descriptions below, if you've run into this problem before, and if this solves your problem. And subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.